Tell me we get what is up. Oh, we get this up. And we're down. We're down. Now we're down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Delta Airlines Flight 2998 bound for Atlanta, Georgia, with continued service to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you.
We live?
No.
Yes.
Yo, welcome. It's Up There Podcast. You know you're dealing with Big Loon. For video, you go to patreon.com. It's Up There Podcast. Audio drops every Monday. Thank you so much for listening. Of course, we jump right into it. I want to start with the Lil Durk interview with Walo and Gille, $1 million worth of game. Shout out to the homies, you know. In this space right here, man, it's unique. I keep telling y'all that we are not the movers and shakers. We are not the people who are making headlines, that's making the media cycle, right? We're able to control the narrative from a position of power. We're able to tell our story. As you know, that Into the Line learns how to write, every story will be about the hunter, right? You never hear the lion's perspective. You never hear about the hunters that went after the lions and failed and what that may have looked like, right? So you got to put yourself in a position to know that, okay, now a shift is happening. And I want to send a shout out to Walo, you know, specifically because I'm dealing with information, right? So I peep the game that he's putting down. I see what he's doing, right? So some people see Walo and Gille on $1 million worth of game do that podcast with Kodak, and simultaneously the album is #1 while the interview is done $1 million in a day. And you see them package that and post that. That's not by coincidence. That's what's called a proof of concept. So what he's doing is he's pitching that to labels. Like, look at the impact of our brand next to your artist on its release date. So I want to send a shout out to them for being able to understand how to package these things. See, some of y'all can't sell what you got because you it ain't packaged right. I even saw what dude on Shark Tank, I can't think his name, said that, yo, I be meeting people that I want to invest in, but they ain't even structured right to even accept the investment. The taxes and certain things are not right to even accept the check for me to even help them, right? So it's information, bro. And so when I see Walo and them doing that, I understand that. And it's important for me to point it out for the onlooker so now you can view it from a business perspective. That's what It's Up There Podcast does. That's what we're here in this space for, right? So Durk went on $1 million worth of game, man, and it was a good interview. You know, Durk said a lot of things. He said something about King Von, and I was talking to one of the homies about King Von yesterday, and the real street niggas really felt Von. You dig what I'm saying? R.P. Von, the real street niggas really felt dude and felt like he was one of us. You dig? So it's not by coincidence you hear Durk say, yo, I had more money than Von, but Von took care of his people more than me. He had me feeling the way like I was slacking, like, you know what I mean? He was taking care of his people from a perspective of like he was super duper balling and I was the one with the paper. And so for that, you know what type texture Von was. You know, at some point, It's Up There Podcast. See, the unique thing about my podcast and what I do, I can take the interview at any time and it's going to be really effective because my perspective, right? How I view things, right? The questions that I'm gonna have, how I'm able to relate to certain parts of the game. And that's another reason why I'm watching this Walo thing, right? With him and Durk and how they was talking and how that's being received. There's a lot going on in the game that I have to look at and view as a certain way. Everything has power. Everything in this space has power, right? So I'm dealing with enough information to know that. And so when I look at things, understand how I'm viewing them. And if you want a man, you viewing them the same way. Durk didn't want to do interviews. For people that's unaware, Durk was supposed to do Akademiks show. Something is up with Akademiks show, right? It's probably doing good numbers, but I don't know. See, this is the thing about talking, interviewing, and things like that. It's so stylistic. You got to have a certain technique, right? Your brain gonna get you in the door, but now it's about how you sound on the mic. What you doing? What you talking about? What's your topics, right? And when your guests come, how does that interaction? A lot of people are waiting to see that with me, right? When you sit next to somebody, what does that look like? What is it? What what's the vibe there, right? But hey, man, Akademiks gonna have to fine tune that thing. Something is missing. For podcasters, you don't want to only compete when you have a big interview. You want people to buy into your brand. Walo and Gille, people are buying into them, right? And I have that unique thing as well. Drink Champs, Big Facts. We all carry this thing about us, right? Where people are like, I'm buying into this person. So I can't wait to see, like I was reading Big Facts podcast comments yesterday. I had looked at them. They interviewed Kodak Black, and I was reading the comments. So many people was under there saying, yo, man, I wish Kodak was sitting next to Bank. And I wish Kodak was right there next to, like, they done bought into these people. And that's what's going to give you longevity in the game. Everybody know being cool is fragile. Everybody know being cool is fragile. You see what I'm saying? So Durk declined the interview with Akademiks. And I think Akademiks is using his brand in a way that I would do too, but I just want to be clear with people who's the onlookers. Akademiks is using his brand, his social media presence as leverage with artists, right? To secure interviews. Because we know artists are sometimes bougie. They don't want to sit down next to dudes. You know, I don't know, because people fuck with me. They fuck with the game I'm putting down. So I don't necessarily got to trick them into doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I guess these dudes are having trouble with these artists, so they tend to be like, yo, I'm gonna push you on my Akademiks page or my social media platform for you to come sit down with me and have a conversation. Like, those things are a trade-off. And Durk is maneuvered through these last couple of years very smart. He's smarter than people think. He's using all these people for what they're worth, right? He's doing business. The dude is doing business out there. You dig? So you got to pay attention to know what I'm saying, and I may get into it later and kind of break a little bit of it down, you know. And so Durk done this interview right in the middle of his beef with NBA Youngboy, in the middle of, you know, so many of his homeboys or his little homies calling people. It's a lot going on the internet, right? So in the middle of all that, he does this. He does the album. So he says, I ain't doing no interviews. Walo and Gille had to come to his hood. So I'm going to play a little bit of it and we'll speak about it. But they came to his hood, 50, 60 niggas in there, and had the interview. They hit a lot of high points. Walo and Gille did a great job, as they do, sitting next to us, because we us. Right? Together, we us. Like, it's only gonna be magic. And that's what I tell these companies that holler at me, like, yo, just get me in the building, I'll do the rest. Because that's us next to us. So if I get around them and they ain't one of us, then we ain't gonna click. Right? And that's depending on whatever the type niggas they is, right? I'm street nigga for sure. I'm one of us. I come from this culture. I'm us. So if I come in there and you don't accept us in me, and then it is what it is, and we'll move on. But outside of that, we looking for moments in this culture, to create moments in this culture, and that's what it's about, and that's what they did right here. So we about to watch a little bit of it. We about to watch the unique part in which Walo was talking to Durk, and he was talking to him about forgiving his brother's killer, right? And see, I keep telling y'all how important it is for us to speak to them while they in the middle of their tornado. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's rough to communicate when your senses is at an all-time high, right? Like even when you driving and you ever wonder why people get road rage, it's the heightened senses, right? Everything's heightened when you in the air. Like certain things are just natural, your senses are just heightened. And so in the middle of a war, because let's not be confused, when casualties are happening, this is war we dealing with. I've been at war, my family, my people been at war. One gone, this one gone, that one gone, they gone. Like I know what that's like. That's a war, and I ain't gonna categorize it. You understand? There's war going on in the ghettos, man. And so a lot of these rap niggas is at war. You understand? And this I ain't just necessarily talking about rap shit. This rap shit is just fuel to the fire. But it's real shit going on behind the scenes. Where people getting hit and spots is getting hit and shit is happening that you will never hear about, because this is what the ghetto has for us. Right? Everybody want to be in each other's spot. Don't nobody understand position. Right? Everybody jockeying for the one spot. They don't understand that your boy just got 30 million for following Kanye around with a camera. But you got to first deal with the mind of somebody that even know to say, yo, I'm not so caught up in myself that I don't see there's something special about this individual. So I'm going to start documenting what this dude is doing. Like, what the fuck is, I ain't never seen no shit like this. What is this dude doing? And so he got to, first of all men want to be the boss. All men want to be the boss. So it got to be overwhelming. It got to be so obvious that it's not even up for debate. You know, that you understand like something is special with this dude, and I'm gonna grab the camera, and that end up paying off. But a lot of these dudes at war. So Walo went to telling them like, yo, do not, you got to forgive your people killers. Sometimes things happen. Let's take a look at a little bit of it and we'll talk about it.
Even if and I'm gonna say some shit that like this is documented. I got a TED talk. I forgave my brother's killer.
I gotta let y'all hear the game, man.
Nigga that killed my brother. My brother died in my grandma's arms. In that fucking house that we grew up in. Nigga shot my brother. He ran to the house. He died in Nanny Harms when she opened the door. So I'm telling you, there's some real shit, man. If I ain't let that shit go, I won't be right here today. I won't be here for my niece and my nephews. Me and Gil won't be doing this. Y'all won't know me. I won't be able to give y'all this game. But I had to leave. I had to let that shit go. And when I let that shit go, nigga, I started to grow. And I started to glow. And now I'm here today, and it was harder than a motherfucker, man. And I'm talking about this my big brother, nigga. I shared the cell with him. I shared the bed with him when we was fucking kids. This little Steve. But I can tell you one thing. Now I'm out here taking care of his daughter, paying for her to go to school, taking care of my nephew, taking care of my mama and my grandmama.
Talk to him. Sure.
Because I forgave my brother killer, but I understand. I understand what y'all going through. But I love all you young niggas in here. And I mean that shit. I love you niggas, man. And I hope y'all make it out.
I feel it, bro.
I hope y'all make it the fuck out, man.
And he like
straight up, man.
It's so crazy. Yeah, this motherfucker really dropping tears for this shit. Like shit for real. Like
I love being around the young niggas because like you don't understand, y'all niggas got so much life and y'all probably don't understand because y'all young. But this system and the way this structure is so scared of y'all because they saying if these niggas ever turn that light cut on in their head, we in trouble because they the most fearless motherfuckers that ever walked the planet Earth. These young black brothers in the ghetto don't fear nothing. So when you switch that shit and you do an energy transfer, it's over. Y'all nigga ever wake up, it's over.
Some energy in that building, boy, coming over.
What's gonna happen?
And see for Walo, right?
Like, you gotta understand right there, right? So, man, like, shout out to Walo again. Like, if you know me, you know I speak like, this is what I speak on. Information, liberation, observation, and giving game, and that's what I stand by. So when I see that, I feel a way. I receive it away when I deal with that because I know I'm dealing with Walo, and it seemed like that because he gave his life to the game, right? It's almost like he chasing them niggas down. It's almost like he chasing the rap niggas down, trying to tell them shit, You see what I'm saying? And that's the kind of vibe I get from him, right? And I can't wait to sit with a lot of them. You know, we'll speak about a lot of things, and hopefully I can spread some game in a way that is effective to our community, right? But we need niggas that's breathing life into the young niggas, that's breathing life into niggas like, yo, get out that street shit. See, people want to tell me that when I communicate my standards about these niggas want to be street, that I'm wrong. That I shouldn't say it. That, well, what was you doing when you was young? Well, listen, I know better now. I only got away because God or something just had me to get away. I wasn't supposed to get out of that. I was gone. I was lost. I was fucked. Right? So when I see him play around with it, I'm saying, yo, bro, avoid the potholes in the road, nigga. Which one of you, like, yo, it's offensive to me? Because I feel like it's so much information out there. How you still dealing with that low level vibration? How you know, but then on the other side, I get it, because when you dealing with war, you can't trade peace for war. So when you hear Walo talk like that, yo, even if we want to squash it, even if we want to say it's over with, how we know it's over with? The wars that I know about in my town, the ones that I know about, they just stopped, just boom, out of nowhere. It ain't nobody really even said nothing. Just the killing stopped. But you can't trade peace for war. So what do you do when you in the middle of a war, but you want to, it's millions of dollars on the table? Walo trying to reach them niggas. But it's about information. So when I come around, I'm trying to give information. When I show up, you got help on your team. When I come in the building, you ain't got nothing detrimental to the team that done showed up. You got help that done showed up. You got a thinker. You got a nigga that's gonna go the extra mile, that's gonna figure it out, that's gonna try to go and get in between the problem and the solution and figure out how to bridge the gap. That's what you got when I show up. You feel what I'm saying? So when you dealing with people like this, you got to give them information. And I don't got all the answers, but I do know a disease known as half the cure. So when you dealing with motherfuckers and you able to say, homie, the only way I was able to get out, and look at me now, and I may not be you because you already on, but I may be one of these other niggas in here. You may can't reach the nigga that's already on, but it's other niggas in here, and the energy made that. You see how it just drained? Boom. It's like a energy just came and drained it. Even if he wanted to hold it, it just came out. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes when you communicate with people, you deal with that level of frequency and you can't even stop it. But when I look at podcasting, it's only a few people putting game down like that. Everybody know I talk like that all the time. I got hundreds of clips of that kind of game. That's the game I give, right? And I'm watching how y'all receive it. I'm watching the reception, right? I'm watching some of the people who need to champion this kind of talk, right? And I'm watching people ignore it. I'm also on the flip side watching people celebrate it, that don't celebrate it when it doesn't come from someone in a position higher than them. It's unfortunate that the truth don't affect you niggas the same way. For me, the truth don't care who tell it. The truth don't care who tell it. And it's a lot of people selling a lot of things. It's a lot of people promising shit on their podcast. It's a lot of people saying what they can do for you and how much they can take you and get how far they can get you in real estate on their podcast. It's a lot of promises being made on these shows and these other things. But there ain't a lot of game being put down. And when you go to putting game down, you supposed to respect the truth like you do your mama and daddy, nigga. You supposed to respect the truth like you do God, nigga. So the truth don't care who tell it. But one thing I know is that it is only so long they can ignore the truth. right? And so when I see niggas celebrating and I say that, oh boy, this touched me so much, and I ask myself, well, why they ain't never posted Loon? Cause Loon talk like this every week. And me championing me don't take nothing from Walo. I just told y'all, until the line learn how to write, every story gonna be about the hunter. So I got to say something when this the kind of game I'm putting down. Oh, everybody love that kind of game. The truth don't care who tell it. Nigga, when I tell a lie, stop the camera, nigga. When I tell a lie, stop the camera. And so it shows, man, and there's people getting a lot of likes, making a lot of money, getting a lot of views. And they telling lies. They don't even relate to this thing, right? And with me, I know that the truth, man. When I see Walo said them boys the truth. You don't even evoke that kind of emotion when you ain't dealing with the information. So I'm talking about 20 years behind the wall, I'm dealing with the information of what this get us. And I see all y'all on the same street I was on over there, man, and it's dark down that road right there. Ain't no lights, pothole, your car guaranteed to break down. Ain't no gas stations, it's long. Man, I'm talking about, man, it's rough going down that road, and it's pleasant on this other side. The problem is we think we don't control the vehicle, and we can't just merge over. Oftentimes merging over mean I got to take my eye off what's in front of me, because I got to look this way to be able to merge that way, right? And my paranoia say don't take your eyes off the road, because anything can happen, man. It's definitely involved with a lot of these, wars that's going on, man. And it's hard to tell a man that, hey, don't avenge your homie. He died on your watch. Let that go. Them rough conversations. But it's important that you done dealt with it before you can speak on it. You can't teach what you ain't been taught. So when Walo say, yo, I had to forgive my brother, kill it, I already sent a shockwave. All right, so he ain't just talking. This ain't just an interviewer trying to be, such and such. This a nigga that had to bury his brother. So he talking from experience. And we tend to highlight the things in the ghetto that ruins us. Right? I ain't even gonna say ruin us, because we never ruin. I don't want to misrepresent what I'm saying or even use those kind of words to categorize such a process that makes such a unique individual, right? When we dealing with the ghetto, man, sometimes it will skew your opinion on things. It'll make you have an unconventional approach to business, relationships, hardships, feeding your family. You learn how to make a meal with $10 in the ghetto. It'll teach you how to be a warrior in a world that's forgotten about the people. They put you in something called the projects, and you make the best of it, right? They throw out the scraps and you make soul food, right? And so half of it is embracing it. Those things that we consider weaknesses are also our strengths in certain areas. It's a reason why in this podcast space I can run circles around dudes, is because I really come from the ghetto. I really made money amongst those guys. I grew up amongst the most rottenest dudes in the century. Right? I'm just talking about in the dope game in my town. It's just rotten shit going on. It's just the triple crossing, the prices, and they stepping on it, and they trying to find how you like dudes. Man, listen, that's a whole nother thing. But the information, the intel, the advantage I got from having to dance in that arena. Now I operate amongst these corporate settings in stealth mode. I'm dealing with layers of information that they can't even consider, because their life was never hard enough to have to compromise what it was that they thought was reality or the truth. I had to compromise what I thought was right, nigga. I was 15 years old being arrested and searched by police every single day for nothing. I remember one time being called at 15, my nigga. I thought this was just normal. I remember at 15, the police pulled all of us out the hood and took pictures of us and put them in their cars. And you can't just take pictures of children and like, yo, but I had to compromise what I thought was reality. And in that moment, one of my people, and this is why I'm trying to tell you about intel and information. In that moment, we learned, right? Oh, they taking pictures of people. So guess what people started doing? Coming out with wigs, not wigs, but afro wigs and shit. So what'll happen is you'll take a picture of my face and this big old wig and this big old afro. I don't have like just doing something to throw that off, right? And so what I'm saying is you can peep game when you come from game. And those same weaknesses can be viewed as strength. So you fearless. Say, bro, you will go sit in your home. You will go sit in your op in them bushes and wait for them to come and pop out the bushes with their firearm and hit one of them dudes, jump in the car, jump right on the interstate. Like, if you got that same fearlessness in entrepreneurship, man, do you know what that mean? You will fly over to China instead of just placing an online order. You'll go meet the people. You one of them. You fearless. But ain't nothing wrong with your aim. You just got to change your target. And when we deal with each other, we got to start telling each other information. But more importantly, we got to start rising niggas up that's giving that kind of game. But I'm watching you dudes. I'm watching you other podcast people, you people in position is acting like y'all feel, you know, oh man, we feel when people get this kind of game to our youth. And y'all don't support nobody that get that kind of game to the people. When we deal with the information, because I look at it from a holistic standpoint. I know this game. I know it like the back of my hand. You know what I'm saying? And I know in the ghetto what we get from the ghetto, y'all ain't been given. Certain things are explained, other things are experienced, and we dealing with both of them in the ghetto. You know, and we also know that just because you come from the ghetto doesn't devalue me in the marketplace. I want to be clear to my black people who are coming in this game financially unstable. I don't need people to think because you come in this game financially unstable that speaks to your impact on this game, right? This game here, and when I talk about this game, I mean culture, because hip hop runs culture, and that's a period. That's a complete sentence. You understand? Hip hop runs culture. Culture runs pop culture. Right? And we are the storytellers of the future, right? So when you deal with us, you got to remember that you got to remember that we control cool. But cool is fragile, so we got to control the business. And if we don't control the business, that's when we make a mistake. But the sweetest berries grow amongst the sharpest thorns, right? The ones that come out the ghetto, the ones that come from nothing, the success story. That's why people acting like they came from nothing. But you acting like you came from nothing. Like, and the problem be with that is that we can see you, yo, when you get around somebody that came from nothing, you can't keep up. Niggas run circles around you, man. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't fun coming from nothing. That would be pissing me off about the fake ghetto people or the people who fake like they come up hard. Yo, bro, you didn't really have to come up from nothing. You didn't have to share the grill, nigga. You didn't have, I remember coming up in my neighborhood, they thought I had something because I had a slightly bigger room than people just because how the apartment was cut. We all in the same apartments. But this just a perspective. You see what I'm saying? But coming out of there, man, are going to be some of the greatest things that this world has ever experienced coming out of us. Coming out of our culture. A lot of people got rich telling our story. A lot of people got rich making TV shows and pitching certain things to our people without even representation of our culture, even anywhere in the building. And I think moving forward, we got to edit that. We got to edit that. And ain't no way we can continue to allow that to happen. But yeah, man, great interview with Walo and Gille. You know, in this podcast space, I think I provide a service, right, that not other podcasts provide. And it's that kind of talk, that real talk, that real talk. And it ain't low level. It ain't that low level game. It's high level game. But if nothing else, I love to see Walo, Gille, and them get my audience ready for me. Because if that's what y'all like, my catalog is gonna do numbers, right? Because this is how we talk over here every week, you know. So great interview, man. I think Walo and them serve a purpose in this space. I like Durk's album. I'm gonna give a quick Durk review, Durk album review. You know, I like Durk's album. I think it's his sound. I think he does a great job at kind of staying in the pocket that he's provided himself. I do think he's outsmarted NBA Youngboy. He's outsmarted a lot of these people. Again, I think Durk is doing high level business, right? Akademiks thought he would get an interview, so he kind of covered him from a certain kind of perspective. And if he say he didn't, we know that's not true. I'm dealing with the information. I know how you dudes do business, right? So you covered him favorable, right? Thinking that interview was coming. And not saying he done nothing wrong. You do what you want to do with your brand. And I think he did the right thing. Sitting with Walo and Gille has a way different effect than sitting with Akademiks. Respectfully to Akademiks, but it's a different audience and it's a different perspective with the interview. You see what I'm saying? So he'll get his interview and we'll see what kind of comes from it. I'm sure he'll have some clips that come from it, but I'm just saying the impact of it and how, you know, those interviews need to be received by our culture. Some people got to sit next to some people. Loon got to sit with me. Loon got to sit with Durk. Loon got to sit with E.T. Loon got to sit with 19 Keys. Loon got to sit with Earn Your Leisure. Loon got to sit with Charlemagne. Loon got to sit with Sir Dame Dash. Certain names got to sit with Loon because it can't do nothing but make it do what it's supposed to do. The information that our people gonna get from it should be impactful, you know, to say the least. You see what I'm saying? I think Durk, like I said, outsmarted people, you know, even with NBA Youngboy. He teased the record like he was gonna beef with NBA Youngboy on this album. All that is what I told y'all. You know the game I brought to the game here. All that is what I say all the time. You pay with your eyeballs. So what he did was he got NBA Youngboy people watching him, thinking a diss is coming. Now that inflates my numbers, right? Then I drop a little high record to make them think like, oh yeah, you get an album full of this, and that ain't even the case, right? So that's another trick. Then he even said the other day, high Part 2 Midnight, right? Even if 20% of his fans go to his page, that's still gonna push the numbers just a tad bit, right? So he's doing high level business. And shout out to Todd Moskowitz. I be in his DM, we be talking in the DM. I be telling him, hey yo, send Durk to me, man. Send some of them artists to me. Let me pick their brain and let me pick your brain. You know, I like to speak to the executives of this space, right? The people that make the wheels move, right? Just to get the game out to the people and what's really like being one of the people that really make this thing happen. You know, I think, again, certain people just provide that runway for people to really get the information out. And fortunate for my people, my fans, Loon is one of them, and we're going to continue to build the brand in that way. I just think Durk outsmarted people, you know. He didn't use his Drake verses. I wonder what that's about. I think he's testing the market to see what's really his impact. Like, where do I stand in the market? You know, without Drake, where do I stand? You know what I'm saying? Me as Lil Durk without, because he got several Drake verses right now, which I don't know if it's going to come on a deluxe or if he going to double back with another album here at the end of the year or something. But he going to use them Drake verses and it's going to inflate the numbers again and go up again. If he do it on the deluxe, he'll sell another one something again because Drake has that impact. And let's talk about Drake for a second too. Because again, I don't think people give Drake his flowers enough if you understand, if you have any kind of game. Right? Drake is up under criticism from people who say, yo, Drake rides people waves. I think that Drake has an effect on people's careers, man, that is not spoke about. Once you get the Drake verse, it's done, especially if he put his machine behind it like he did Durk. That song was like a single of Drake's. Like it was pushed through all the channels that Drake is pushed through. And that consequently affected Durk's whole career the same way he did with Baby, the same way he did. He done got on songs with these dudes, man, and it really has affected things. Even Future, everybody. Future has that effect too now. If he really wants to put you on one of his singles and shoot it through the Future channels, you'll get a certain level of, that dude career is set now. You know what I'm saying? See, it's a different when a Drake jumps on your song or you jump on a Drake song, or Future jumps on your song or Future puts you on his song. These are two totally different circumstances, but from a consumer, all they see is the finished product, the song together. But these things are handled two totally different ways. You know, so Drake is not getting the kudos that I think he should get for making dude's music career really boom like it is, and he never says anything. Criticism from you mental midgets is, hey, yo, Drake be stealing people thunder, he ride people wave. Now just think if Drake were bougie and not mess with nobody, what would they say then? They have a lot to say then. Drake won't even get nobody no song. Drake won't mess with nobody. So you can't win. You can't win with these people. You see what I'm saying? It's just an unfortunate circumstance that people view you with those type of lenses when you are the number, when you've been on Billboard for 10 years straight and you telling me what somebody with 600,000 streams can do for me. Like, bro, I'm blessing the game around here, as well as I am using these things as little bitty coals in the fire now. I ain't saying these things are unimpactful. I'm just saying they not as impactful as people are trying to portray them to be in regards to Drake needs to lean on them for any kind of thing. Dude is he's the pinnacle of music at this point. And so, yeah, so that's, you know, that's my outlook on Durk album and the Durk and Walo interview. You know, let's see what else we want to get to. Let's talk about the Kanye West documentary. For those of you that may be unaware, Kanye West has a documentary. You must be sleeping under a rock, but nonetheless, Kanye West has a documentary on Netflix, right? I just spoke about the guys who shot the documentary got 30 million just for believing in their homeboy, right? And so, and this is a very extreme case, right? So don't expect 30 million for filming your homeboy to rap. Right, he may not be as big as Kanye, but expect something. You might get you something out of it in this content era that we in, right? I had people on my team that didn't understand process, right? Just dudes is just not aware of things. And as much as I speak about information, I notice that when they get next to you, they try to use that against you. I go through that Joe Budden shit, like, yo, you talk ownership, bro. You can't even do business with me without giving me ownership. It's like, nah, but I'm about to boost this up, and this ain't even in a place where it has any brand equity. So how much ownership we talking about with me doing all the leg work, right? We still talking business. And so it's layers of game up under that ownership talk that at some point we got to have conversations about, right? And even information talk. It's a lot of game that I got to get to, and you got to stay the course of the ride, right? To get this shit. Because I can't give it all at one time, because I don't know it all at one time. As I'm learning it, I'm giving it. That's how this thing go. But the documentary is called Genius, right, on Netflix. And this last episode cranked up with a very intense scene. You know, people may not have took much from it. I took a lot from it because when I view things, I view them from a perspective of just trying to understand why things are being said. I can respect what's being said if I can identify why it's being said. Right? I can't respect what's being said if I can't identify why it's being said, right? So if you, just for analogy purposes, right? If you look at me and tell me, yo, you're dirty, and I look down and I look clean, I'm not gonna understand why you said that, so I'm not respecting what was said. But if you say, yo, you look dirty today, and I look down and I got mud on me, I got to respect that because I see why it's being said. Right? So I never, ever, ever care what's being said until I identify why it's being said. But it cranked up with Kanye pleading his case as to why he's a genius. And there's a guy named Rhymefest that's in a studio with him. And Rhymefest said, I quote, "I thought you were a genius until I saw Jay-Z do a verse in 5 minutes. And then I said no." Kanye West then rebuttal to that. It's like, hey, yo, look at all I'm doing, bro. He like, yo, not only did I write, I made the beat, I did this, I did that, I did that. Like, and what I got from that is totally different from what everybody else got from that. What I got from that is, hey, yo, Loon, ain't nobody gonna be able to identify your motherfucking attributes if you can't identify them. Yeah, when you walk into these, talking to these and walking and talking to these folk, you got to let these folk know, hey, man, you ain't seeing what I'm doing, boy. I shoot this, I edit this, I do that, I do this. I put the game down without no notes. Ain't no cosign necessary. I come in rich. They got to respect this. And then on top of being able to identify it, you really got to believe it. And I always say, if somebody don't think you delusional about what your dream is, it ain't big enough. Even if you delusional, you got to believe it. Because if you don't believe it, it ain't going to happen. Half of it is willing it into existence. You got to will that shit into existence. So how you going to will something you don't believe? And then look what mountain they put him up against. Jay-Z in his prime. They say, yo, bro, I thought you was it. That's like them telling me, boy, I listen to your podcast. Boy, I thought you was the #1 show. Boy, until I heard Charlemagne. And then I got to say, hold up, but Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club. He got envy to throw him stuff at Andrew Show. Like, I got to start pointing out, hey, yo, man, you got to start identify your attributes. It's unfortunate that may be took as a slight to anyone. I hate the culture that we in, right? Where we can't big yourself up without someone else thinking you dimming they light. Say, dog, cause I feel good about me don't mean I feel bad about you. That don't mean that. But you must be able to identify your attributes, man, and really have some attributes, cause you don't got what you can't identify. You do not have what you can't identify. And I'm starting to place myself, you know, people are asking me a very interesting question as I get closer and closer to the top of this podcast and thing. They're saying, what do you want? And that question sometimes for me, it seems to be too broad, but I need to have an answer for that. Because if I don't have an answer for that, I may not be sure about where I'm going. And I'm clear on that. I know how much money I want, but what do you want at the game? See, it get deep when it's right there next to you, when somebody can make it happen, right? So you got to know what it is you looking forward to. And so when Kanye say, yo, he identifies his attributes, oh, look at all this I'm doing, like you bugged out, man. What you saying about me? The Rhymefest dude say, yo, why you call yourself a genius, bro? It ain't up to you to call yourself a genius. Other people got to call you a genius. And I instantly thought to myself, man, I'm not waiting around for fake niggas to call me real. Why we waiting for fake niggas to call us real? You know how long it'll take a fake nigga to call something real? Broke niggas to say I'm rich? Lazy niggas to identify my work. You niggas ain't got the fortitude. You niggas ain't got the motherfucking eyesight to see this shit. I ain't waiting around for you niggas to say I'm a genius. Oh, Loon putting game. Nigga, I know I'm putting game down. I know I'm standing on it. I do a show by myself. I know what I'm doing. Right? I ain't waiting around for nobody to tell me, hey, yo, man, that what you doing is nah, my boy. I believe in this, what I'm doing. Hence why I'm doing it. Right? And that ain't grandstanding or being arrogant. That's identifying the sweat, equity, and work a nigga put in, slime. A nigga done been going hard with this. Niggas can't fuck with this. Like, and that ain't a slight at nobody. We dealing with the information, home. Ain't no way in the world I'ma wait on one of these other podcasters to give me some credit when I know they done saw my shit somewhere and they playing the no look game. I was telling Parlay yesterday, we putting, number one, bro, you got to put a little you got to put a little expectations on the relationship with these guys. That's why I give a shout out to Rashad and them. Say, hey, yo, we fuck with you. Yo, get us on the show. Instantly made it happen. Want that Instagram playing, want them games. See, you got to identify when you're dealing with a sucker that playing Instagram. They playing these games. They just want you on their good side just in case. But they ain't finna help you. But just in case you blow up, I want to seem like I was a little small. Nah, man, you got to really, if you believe in something, you got to help something. And coming from the hood, we can identify the quarterback sneak, huh? Niggas can identify the quarterback sneak, so you ain't popping no game on no nigga. A nigga identifying that shit and just categorizing that shit. But I just think it's unfortunate that, number one, I know Jay was the pinnacle at the time. Don't put me up against Jay though. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go against Jay, right? But I want to identify my attributes. But don't make me tell you, right? Because I know enough. I was telling Chad from 85 South yesterday. I was telling him, say, I know enough about all these dudes. I can really grab hold of one of these dudes, man. Like, I'm just saying verbally, right? I know enough about everybody in the game. I had to study the game. I come from a place. I was outside the infrastructure. I've everything that got something to do with anything that got something to do with everything. I know something about it. So when I'm dealing with these dudes, I can just, if I wanted to go clickbaity, I talk well enough, I can just grab hold one of these dudes verbally and shake them up and just take their audience. But I didn't want to come in the game like that. I want to trust the game. Like, yo, just put the game down. You dealing with information. Just make the game do what it do. And it's been doing that. But we ain't waiting around for no niggas to, call us a geniuses or acknowledge our hustle. You niggas is lazy. You can't identify hustle. You niggas is fake. You can't identify real. You niggas is down. You can't identify up. Right? So come on, man. It's like, come on, man. We ain't doing that. So we put ourselves in a position to identify our own attributes. That's the problem when black people deal with these companies. They waiting on these companies to identify their attributes. Instead of telling these companies, yo, I come with this, that, and the third. And my audience say this, that, and the third. And we stand on that. But I guess I'm unique in my approach. I also learned from the Kanye West documentary that he's been doing this traveling show type, listening session type thing. It was a unique part, and I hated it for him, though his mom passed away on him. And it was a hell of a thing because his mom was so influential in what he thought was the way to go. Like, she was just gave him so much confidence, so much love, embraced what he was doing from a level where I could only imagine what that was when she left. Right after that, you start seeing the rants. Because I always talk about, especially black moms, man, they scared our people, man. They scared the hell out of our people to even flirt with the ideal of entrepreneurship. When you deal with some of the old school moms, they'll tell you get you a job and just try to work your way up and go 30 and 40 years at that same spot and put yourself in a position to try to, get the best spot you can, and don't you offend nobody, and don't make sure you got your shirt tucked in like they, there is an attire in a corporate setting. We don't want to ignore that. But they had our mothers in the ghetto who want the best for us. Want us to re-identify ourselves, right? To operate inside of the construct. I remember a time where they would make you cut your hair to get a job. They would ask you to put on a suit to go to an interview just for the possibility to get the job. And this would be at a place where you might be a warehouse worker. You would show up dressed to the nines and the white boy come in flip-flops and both of y'all got the job, but you wonder what's the requirements. You know, so they want the best for us. And so to see Kanye mom be like really, really bite into the fact that he was doing music and embrace it. It's just always been unique to me, and it always been something that I looked at and said, yo, that relationship right there is so, so, so valuable. The thing about when something's valuable, it hurt when you lose it. The more valuable it is, the more pain attached to the loss of it. And so when his mom died, you see him go on rants. You see him start to re-identify who he is at this point. He's lost a part of him. You know, after her, he went, like I said, on a downward spiral. Circumstantial situation, you know, losing someone that close to you. And again, let this be a moment of clarity for people that's around valuable individuals. And when I say valuable, I mean valuable to the entertainment structure. Not that one person is more valuable than the other. But again, identify your attributes. Right? If you're around someone that might have a real shot at things, learn your position. It's about position. Everybody on the team don't shoot the last shot, but we gonna get the ring. We get the win. We get the chip. Right? And so it's about understanding that everybody has a network of people. And that's a complete sentence. And try to put yourself in valuable people's network and become valuable. And not at their expense, become valuable to their experiment. Become valuable to what they got going on. Become influential, become instrumental in what it is that they have going on, whether that be welcoming the guests or, you know, whatever that is, find your position. And this the part that I didn't like about what Cody and them did. And I don't know if other people saw this or felt this kind of way, but there was a time where after the downward spiral, you know, Kanye was searching back for is just that feeling, that family feel, that feel of being around people that know Kanye. You know, not the people that know the famous Kanye, but the people that know me from being, you know, just me. And so we brought back Coolie. So we got Coolie in the car, and he had just said that he was running for president, said some things about abortion on stage and cried. Clearly the meds was affecting him, right? The meds was affecting his communication and his perspective at the time, whether that's good or bad. It was affecting it. So he wasn't operating in the confines or as they would expect a Kanye or even somebody running for president. There was just a lot going on at that time, you know. So he was in a situation where he was just misrepresenting his ideas. His feelings and his communication were off. And so he had said some things about abortion, and they show him riding over to the studio or somewhere. This time he's already rich. He is who he is, right? So he's riding over to the studio, and Coolie's in the back seat, and he on the phone with his father. And his father is saying to him, like, you know, of course, stay true to you, but maybe just next time don't say nothing out loud. You know, don't say it in no open setting. He trying to give his son the game. And it's a nigga in the back seat overcompensating. Oh, we got him now, Pops. Oh, yeah, Pops, he on our squad now, Pops. Hey, Pops, he cool now, Pops. He in good hands now. Kanye looked back like, yo, hey, bro, I'm talking to my father, bro. He don't even know you, bro. He don't even remember you. Then he had to tell his dad, like, hey, yo, this Coolie from 20 years ago, like, been around me the whole time, you know. But it damn near made me cringe. Because it's like, the fame done turned my homie into a cock buffer. Into a nigga that's gonna say whatever it is he think I want to hear. into a nigga that's overcompensating. When my father trying to talk to me, I done got on here talking about my mother wanted to abort me and my daddy wanted to abort me. I done said something. I'm going on and my father trying to give me the game. How you gonna tell a nigga daddy that you been around since the beginning? I'm the dude father, man. What you talking about the beginning? What's the beginning? That's why I be saying that's these nigga reaching for straws, man. But see, I'm on to these niggas. That's why I move by myself. I'm on to these niggas, man. These niggas is trying to get next to niggas to try to get money off of niggas. Niggas don't have no hustle. You understand? You know, see, I know the old saying, if you go in a bar, you find you a table next to a waiter. That's how you get your food the quickest. So they think I'm the waiter, so they trying to find positions next to me, right? And so when you hear a dude in the back seat with Kanye talking about I've been here since the beginning, while I'm talking to my dad about some shit that I said about our family business that I shouldn't have said on a public forum, and he trying to give me the game. But see, them same dudes, they be so lost in the fame and the money. And all due respect to home, I'm just giving my perspective on the game. This ain't no longer about home now. This just about these kind of situations, right? You can't tell a nigga people you been around since the beginning. Beginning of what? Beginning of some rap shit? We ain't talking no rap shit, man. Quit looking at me, man, just thinking about rap and podcasts and content and money and shit. We talking about my real life. Can't tell the people that birthed me you been around since the beginning. Beginning of what? These people ain't talking music, home. And these same dudes, if you haven't watched the documentary, once you watch it, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. These dudes, Kanye pull up something with Tucker Carlson talking about him. You ought to hear the car. Oh, man, get this dude out of here, man. This dude ain't talking about this dude lying. Kanye like, no, he's not, man. Yeah, he ain't saying. It's like they just saying whatever he think, man. The fame done turned your homies into cock buffers, man. These dudes will do anything just to stay in the car, but they don't understand that I got elevation in my enterprise, nigga. I got room for elevation, nigga, expansion, nigga. I'm not dealing with this dormant shit. You niggas gonna have me dormant just around me, just agreeing with all this. Yo, bro, don't do me like that. We gotta learn, steel sharp and steel. And don't argue just to be arguing with me. Some people get in that mode where they just want to have a comeback just for the sake of the dance with a nigga. Yo, man, that shit ain't making sense. I'm dealing with time. It's my inventory. I don't got time for all that. Niggas is in Bluetooth mode trying to learn, trying to get the information. Boy, they done locked us out some millions out here, man. It's all kind of shit going on. It's tax cuts and shit going. We ain't participating in no financial shit, nigga. I'm on that road. What y'all doing talking to me about anything outside of some business, some games, some money, some information, or something that got something to do with furthering something? I can't waste time on it. But again, man, Kanye came a long way, did a lot of things, affected a lot of people, but believed before anything. When you see somebody stand on a square, when you see somebody come in here and do a podcast like me by themselves, pulling from nobody, powerful young nigga. One thing they can't negotiate with me is how my approach is and how powerful it is in the marketplace. I know that it's only access to audience that we waiting on at this point. That's it. That's it. But if you haven't watched that documentary, definitely go check it out. Let me address this, then I'm gonna take a break. Take a quick break. Donald Trump went on the Full Sin podcast. For those of you unaware, I've covered the Full Sin podcast. I like what they're doing over there. The interview based, but it's wide. They dancing in a lot of arenas, and I'm looking at them. I definitely got to compete with them guys as well, and they're doing a great job. But they had Donald Trump on, and Trump talked about the video being pulled. He told them that this video will get pulled off YouTube, and I want to see what you guys do when they pull you off YouTube. Nonetheless, he said something at the beginning of that interview that rung true, that struck me, that made me view things the way that I tend to view things. He said that you guys come highly recommended by Dana White. Dana White thinks the world of you guys. And if Dana White tells me to do the show, I'm going to do the show. We talking about Donald Trump, President Trump. We talking about Trump now. First thing I thought about, who in the black culture is doing that? Who in the black culture is giving any kind of handoff about any kind of audience, any kind of interviews in this culture? Who's doing it? You tell me who's doing it. I'll wait. When they don't stand the profit. And even if they do, a lot of dudes even in our game won't make the move when they stand the profit. So somebody tell me that who's going around saying, yo, Walo, jump on this show, bro. Hey, yo, you jump. Hey, yo, y'all got to get on this show, bro. Hey, yo, audience, go listen to this podcast. Not just a posting. See, these things, I even see this. I see people posting. That's why I do salute the ones in the game that really post me and show me love. A lot of people listen to it. But it's important to understand, right? Somebody posts something on their story and they don't even post. Like the people that post me, they'll put, man, this is one of my favorite shows out right now. Like that kind of shit is effective. That's when you really trying to help a nigga. Even in this industry, they always say, because it be a lot of deal talking too. Even in this industry, they always say it ain't a deal to its own paper. Because they know they word ain't nothing in this game. These dudes know they word ain't nothing. They'll meet you out, man, I'm gonna make you $5 million next year, man. I'm not playing about it. Then you won't hear from them. And that's why Jay Prince and them push a hard line. They don't play that. You don't come through here promising the ghetto something and then disappear. We don't play like that. Why Suge start getting hard on, because you can make it uncomfortable for dudes. It's so easy to do, right? And it's unfortunate that dudes be placing themselves in them kind of situations. I just think, yo, if you gonna be in this game, know what this game has to offer. See, in our space, you can have people who hadn't done an interview in 3 years and may get an interview, a big interview like a Dave Chappelle or something after he been canceled. They'll come out and do the interview instead of saying, nah, man, there's a podcast that drop every week. Well, like, I haven't heard of a black podcast where somebody of that stature has sat down and been like, such and such told me to do the show, man, and I'm here. You feel what I'm saying? That was black. I ain't talking about no white people involved nowhere behind the scenes. I'm talking about black people calling black people to say, yo, such and such, get on such and such show, man. And when he sit down like, yo, I really haven't listened to a lot of your stuff. Such and such told me jump on your show, it's hot, so I'm here, man. And they get into the interview. We don't hear that. There's no handoffs in our culture. The information is locked in a room. The information is locked in a room and the resources are in the same room as the information. And they won't let niggas in. They keep fighting over the same pot. This my 4th time interviewing Nicki. This my 18th time interviewing such and such. Instead of reaching down and giving some of those interviews and spreading that audience out. I understand that we don't got no structure in hip hop and none of this shit. This shit is the most all over the place shit on the planet, right? And so until we identify where we really stand, man, we're gonna always have an issue. You feel me? So I'm gonna take a break and then we'll come back. You know, I like to examine the game, right? Podcasting, because when I come in and tell you like Sup There Podcast is gonna be one of the most impactful podcasts or shows in the marketplace, that's a complete sentence. Nowhere in there though did I say it'll be easy or it's not work to be done or it's not gonna be tiresome or it's not gonna be hectic or it's not gonna be traffic. You know, nowhere in there did I say it was gonna be pleasant. I'm just clear on the direction. I ain't saying I'm gonna win immediately, but I'm saying I'm gonna win definitely. I don't speak to the time frame that it takes. I speak to the work that must be put in. That's number one. So when I deal with podcasts and I understand I got it's gonna be a hostile takeover. right? The information that's being put out there is bubblegum, right? The shit niggas is talking about is bubblegum. So when I come talking, the niggas is spitting bubblegum ain't gonna never want to champion a nigga that's giving that airheads out. You know, I'm giving out good candy. I'm giving out good game, and these dudes is giving low-level game out. Low-hanging fruit is being discussed. Millionaires are speaking to millionaires about millionaires, and they ain't speaking to how to become a millionaire. Everybody's speaking about black business. Niggas is speaking about rap business and beef and things, and they ain't even grew up in neighborhoods that would call for them to even catch a fade at any point in their life. It's interesting to me, right? So I pay attention to the atmosphere, and when I see Full Sin, or I see these Joe Rogans, or I see the comics, because that's who is really making a killing in this space, and that's why I champion 85 South. And when I sit down with them, it's a lot I got to speak to them about, because in my opinion, for what they do and how much is mentioned, them shits is way off, right? For the level of work that I put in, for the level of influence, how much influence I have on business in this market, right? And how it's done. For that not to be spoke about is always something. And I don't mean from us, we champion them, but my game is wider than that. My game go to all the comics. I know them all. I know who's really running a 7-figure business on the side, and they podcasting and doing good. I know the ads that they're running. I know the companies that they deal with, right? I studied the game. And as much as I listen to them and I love comics, I love the way they communicate. They just are keen communicators. And as much as I listen to them, I yet to hear 85 South mentioned by some of those guys on the other side. And it's a gap that needs to be bridged there. I'm not sure. You know, I know it's a racial barrier, but I'm dealing with information. And I know some people on that side dealing with information. So, y'all got to look at what's being done and speak to who did it. We can't keep playing and acting like this ain't happening over here now. Right? So, you know, we let some of y'all super good whites come on over here. The great comedians, we accept them because we dealing with information. He good on the stage. And look at the work he's put in. Look how influential he's been. So it's interesting to me, but that's something I'll speak to them about, right? But this space that we in, the range, you know, and the game I put down, it's always important that I remain cognizant, right? That it's gonna be a hostile takeover, because in this game they'll smile, but their intentions, you know, the handshake don't match the smile, right? They can do it with a smile on. They can kiki and kaka while they taking over your business and running it in the dirt or whatever the case may be. So eyes open, right? There, man, it's a lot of games being played. And for me, man, I know my reputation, right, perceives me. I talk too well. They gonna assume I know a little something. And that's the only down part about me being so front facing with the information, is that when people, or the people that's looking to get over on people and looking to do certain kind of business, they want to align themselves with me because they assume I'm a kitchen and it's a threat to the infrastructure. You see what I'm saying? So you got to deal with me with a long handle spoon. I think that we need to do a better job with passing the baton, with being accessible to people that's really doing what they need to do in the business. I think that we have failed in regards to structuring any kind of runway for our people to really get access to information and audience. You know what I'm saying? I happen to be one of the lucky ones that I spent too much time dealing with the facts of this shit. So I told niggas on the walk up, I ain't leaving here with nothing. I know where all the money hiding at. I know where they put everything in the house. I ain't leaving here with nothing. Y'all know that. I ain't saying it's a robbery, but I ain't leaving here with nothing. Now we got to figure out what that mean. Yeah, man. So, hey, man, I don't want to have to take it, but I ain't leaving here with nothing. So we got to figure something out, right? And so I came in the game with that kind of vibe about me and that level of information. So it was clear that I wouldn't leave the game with nothing. But it ain't clear how much I leave the game with, right? And so now we dealing with, I'm in the weird place where, cause you got to understand, I'm smart. You got to understand, I'm fucking with the money. You got to show me the money. If you saying whatever, we got to get some money together. Let's get some paper together, right? Let's get some money together. And you got to show me it's real. I told Parlay the other day, yo, you got to make some of them dudes stand on that fake friendship on the internet. You know what I mean? You got to make them dudes stand on it. You got to say, yo, man, you know, we've been messing around for a long time. You been acting like you my boy and you going to jump on my show. I'm coming to get you on the show. Like, you got to lean on it. And if they fuck with you, they going to say, yeah, for sure. That ain't nothing. Right? And sometimes, man, it's fucked up because they playing on each other. Like in this game, they'll play on you. Niggas will play on you. You know what I'm saying? Long as they keep you at bay right there. You understand? Like, they fuck with you, but they ain't giving you access to no money. They ain't letting you in no buildings. That's what Meek Mill was telling me. Ain't none of the big dogs put me in position. These so-called big dogs. Who put me in position to get some paper, though? Yeah, the big dog. You know what the big dogs do when they have puppies, huh? They feed the puppies. You understand me? Who was feeding the puppies when we was puppies in our business? Statue at that point. We was puppies. Who was feeding the puppies? Nobody. Them niggas ain't gonna give you no access to that shit. Them niggas know better. But anyway, Trump told the Full Send podcast that, hey man, this video gonna get pulled. I want to see how y'all react when it get pulled. I want to see if y'all gonna stand on it, what y'all gonna do. He knew it'd get pulled because he's speaking on the election and certain things like that. And you know, if it's misinformation about that, they pulling that down. So they pulled it down. Them dudes put it back up on their own website, which is, you know, you knew they would do that. But I'm studying Trump right now. Trump is a keen communicator. You say what you want to about whatever you say what you want to. Say whatever you want to say about him. He's a keen communicator when you look at his way of. Now, what I do notice is he has certain talking points in his head that it don't matter what you ask him. If he in a situation where he don't know what to say right there, he gonna go to one of them talking points. You know, you might ask him something about, you know, hey man, what's next for you, man? What you gonna do? And if he don't have an answer for that, he'll say, it was a very long election, and the election was very long, and it was longer than, and you know, he would go into that, and it's funny to see him communicating how he does it. But he's a keen communicator, and watching how he does it, it makes you understand how to manipulate, right? Manipulate what you want, how you want things to be viewed. Like when he'll say the fake news, they're asking him anything. He makes sure that when he address them about whatever, he gonna say fake news. I think one of his biggest strengths is the way that he quantifies or he qualifies what he's about to say. Right? He'll dance around a topic for a long time with a bunch of things that may or may not be true, and at the very end hit you with that last little part with true. You see what I'm saying? And so now he kind of conflating all of those things together. But man, I'm watching him right now. Like the game he was putting down got him all the way into the presidency. So if you think he got low level game, you tripping. He running good game. He come from outside of the political structure and went and got the presidency, talked his way all the way up through that motherfucker and start crooked Hillary and this and that. He started labeling things, and these all are tactics. This is high level jujitsu mind tricks that I talk about. This ain't that low level shit with you niggas, you know, calling, arguing with people and shit. This is high level mental gymnastics, and if you ain't ready for that, you'll never be able to compete with what I'm trying to do, because I understand that what looks like just a regular conversation is a well-crafted thing that these dudes are doing, you know, and be not deceived. I peep it. You may not peep it. Maybe you peep it now that I say it, But just watch him. Watch his hand gestures. Watch when he communicates. Just watch him. Just watch him. And for some people, that's boring. They don't get the same things. You know, we can read the same books and we'll get two different things from it. That's why it's always about perspective. That's why I tell people it's always about perspective. A lot of people perspective be off and they wonder why they can't keep up. But to keep up, you gotta have what it takes to understand where everything is at, to understand where it's going. This shit is a 3-step process. Understand where you at in it, understand where the game is, and understand where the game going. You gotta understand all those 3 things to get ahead of the game. Let's talk about Justice Smollett. For those of you unaware, Justice Smollett was in a situation where he was caught in what police call one of the biggest lies ever told. There was a situation where he called the police. He said that he was at a Subway. It was like 2 a.m. Some people jumped out. Some Trump supporters jumped out, beat him up real bad, put a noose around his neck, you know, make America great again, said a bunch of like racist things, right? And he went home and called the police. When the police showed up, he still had the noose around his neck. When I first heard that, as much as I now look at it and say, well, damn, it makes sense that why would you still have a noose on your neck? Then I forgot that we in America. And by no means do I think Justice Smollett is innocent. I want to be clear on that because my audience, I need you guys to understand I'm not pandering as I progress with my point, right? So I'm not in a situation where I'm trying to appease anyone. I'm here on behalf of myself, right? I'm not paid by anyone to say anything. I don't think he's innocent. The people he was in a situation with flipped on him. So they told him, hey, yo, the gig's up, and he still stuck to it for whatever reason. But in America, as a black dude, and before I even go there, let me say this. Y'all can't fuck with us when y'all need us in regards to, hey, I'm black now. Yo, I'm black. I'm my ancestors. And yo, y'all never really got with the culture about nothing. Y'all never really got with the culture about nothing. When you were piping hot and your career was going at an all-time high, you never tapped in with not one young creator, changed no lives, did none for anyone for free. You never went to a school. You never gave back in any way. You never reposted an up-and-coming person in your field. You never co-signed someone where you didn't stand to make a profit from it. Like, so now that you find yourself on rough time, you want to scream black power. I'm black. My ancestors. And while that may be true, there's a disconnect between the people that activates. Right? Because be clear, I'm black, my ancestors, black power, those kind of things, when we really, that does activate an audience of people and some of our people, but there's a disconnect with a lot of the people that use it after they've been through the white markets and forgot about the culture in every sense of the word. And so you can't fuck with us when they come fucking with you because you never fucked with us when they was fucking with you. You know, when they was giving you money, when they was putting you in position to say, yo, who would you like to work with? You never called on a, right? So it's important that we understand that. But as a black man in America, right, it do be kind of crazy because there is a certain level of pressure in the police not believing what you say. We do deal with that funny feeling that, yo, if I'm the one that have to call the police about this, will they even believe that I'm on the right side of things? Right? So now I got to overcompensate, right? I got to, you know, let's say they come into the house and the house tore up. 9 times out of 10, they're going to think that the black dude was the person that tore the house up. So now if you happen to call the, so again, it's just a level of paranoia attached to, will the police even really believe your story? But the noose on your neck, I would have took that off. I ain't living in that kind of trauma, right? So when he put the noose on the neck, that's when they said, oh, he trying to play a game. he trying to get over on us and play a game, right? So now the police say, yo, we gonna get you about that. They stood on it. We gonna get you about that. You got to remember, right at that time, it was George Floyd. It was all kind of like the world was burning shit down. It was riots. So they took that serious, like, oh man, you tried to add fuel to this fire. They burning the world down, not America. They burning the world. They burning shit all across the world about this. Police brutality on black individuals, unarmed black men. Right? So he tried to add fuel to that fire and they took it personal. Now he ends up getting time. Let's take a look at what they said to him in court before he left out.
To yourself is way beyond anything else that can happen to you from me or any other judge that would be sentencing you in this criminal case.
This is his sentencing.
You are now a permanently convicted felon. Your family who loves you and supports you, I only want to use the word forgive because forgiveness isn't even necessary. They're with you so much. They're so tight-knit, but you have to live with the fact that you really put them through a ringer. You've embarrassed your valuable friends in high places, the elected public officials, people in the media. You've embarrassed them. You have to live with that. I don't know if those relationships can be repaired. You've become toxic in your own workplace. Your career future is uncertain at very best. It was really on a rocket ship to success, and now you've turned yourself into riches to rags, and it's so unfortunate. Your very name has become an adverb for lying, and I cannot imagine what could be worse than that. I'm trying to consider who you are as a person, how you got here, how somehow you strayed away from your family values.
Again, this is the judge speaking directly to Justice Smollett on his sentencing for his role in lying to police about being abducted and beat up and put a noose on his neck.
I'm sentencing you to 30 months felony probation, and the probation is going to be to this court. You're going to be allowed to travel wherever you want. You do not have to live in the state of Illinois. You can report by phone. I know that if you're going to try to make a living and do some of the things you do, you may have to go to other places, New York and Los Angeles. You can do those things. You will pay restitution to the city of Chicago in the amount of $120,106. You are fined
$120K.
$25,000.
$150K a month.
And you will spend the first 150 days of your sentence in the Cook County Jail. And that will start today, right here, right now.
150 days he's going to jail.
I am not suicidal. That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time, I am not suicidal.
Okay. Mr. Uche, let me inquire, are there any post-sentencing motions you care to present?
He ignored that.
I am not suicidal.
Stop locking up our class.
I am not suicidal, and I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
He put his fist up. For those of you listening, he put his fist up and walked out, on some Black Power time. And again, man, when you hear him say that, as much as you want to, as much as people make fun of it, right? And it's hilarious, the idea that you would be caught lying, right? And then this is your rollout at the end. I mean, you're sticking to the lie to the point of, at the end of it, you still is saying, Black Power, I did not do this, my ancestors and things like that. That's hilarious. But when you look at him, the first thing I say is, first of all, you're dealing with an actor. You're dealing with an actor. So when you see him get up that almost was like a scene in a movie. But I wonder, does he really believe that they're gonna hurt him? I wonder, man, and he is pissed off now. It ain't off the table now. We've seen stranger things. Let's be clear about that. It ain't off the table, but it's interesting his approach to that. Right? I can't say, and then look at the games they play. Again, this is why I try to tell you it's about communication when you deal with everything in the world. That's why it's up there. Podcast is trying to teach communication and learn communication, because we ain't at the top of the food chain, but we somewhere up there when we deal with it from a holistic standpoint. But what I'm saying is, as you see, when he said all of that, which sends shock waves through certain people, a lot of those words were meaningful, right? But in that setting, everything he said meant nothing. You cannot operate inside them four walls in a courtroom talking in there that emotional talking in there that you got the motion 16, 14. You got to have some shit. You know, you got to have some shit that speaks directly to that structure that they have, right? And so when you do that, you know that's for the cameras. You see, the judge didn't even acknowledge it. The judge didn't even say, okay, is there a reason you're saying this, sir? He said all of that and he went right to somebody else. You got to understand that and view that for what that's worth. That means that you ain't even communicating in a way that's effective in here. You talking, but what you saying don't resonate in these walls right here. And if you don't communicate a certain way inside these walls, it's null and void. So he got to pay 150 racks. 120 of that is I think the state's restitution, and then the 20 of that, 25 of that is a fine. Of course, they hit him with the maximum fine. Again, let this be a lesson to the young niggas. Don't go in the trick bag. I keep telling you, everybody, they got a trick bag for you. Your job is to never ever go in a trick bag. And for me, going in a trick bag is you done got caught up in wanting to get some clout. And this is just assuming that what they're saying is true. And I haven't looked at everything, but according to what I've saw so far, man, it looked like the people flipped on him. Like everything is stacked up against you, man. You don't ride that one all the way. It just don't make sense. You done got caught in wanting to be a part of the conversation. Right? A part of the conversation. He had even said after that he was the gay Tupac. Like he had got caught up in wanting to get one of the clout awards. And you rode that way too long. In my opinion, though, see, I don't like lies. I don't like lies. And I don't mean people that get things wrong. See, you have a runway to make mistakes and to misinterpret. Right? That's different from lying. But see, and again, I make all my money speaking, so I got to be clear with certain things because they'll take what I'm saying and misrepresent it. I ain't speaking about someone that got information wrong, misinterpreted, maybe guessed wrong even. I'm talking about someone that knows what they're saying is not the truth, and they still continue to say that. I don't like dealing with them kind of individuals. It's two people I don't like dealing with, lies and people and thieves. Lying and stealing are next door neighbors. And again, we're not talking about being wrong. You got a runway to be wrong. But see, these celebrities got to be careful that they don't start grabbing for straws. You know, when you start to lose some of that celebrity status, some people don't want to let that go. And they don't want to let that go because when they had it, they wasn't as effective as they wanted to be or that they needed to be. So it's important that when the lights go on, you understand it's time to get the work done. Right? It look good. We having a blast, but make sure we getting that work done too. But yeah, so that's my outlook on Justice Smollett. And so let's talk about this Joe Budden podcast conversation where they were talking about P. So it was a situation where they were talking about P and how much work he's being put in and how people are viewed from the label and how much work needs to go into it. And it was a very heated conversation. I want to take a look at it and we'll give some game about exactly what took place.
If Instagram is pushing in your explore page, everything that you go look at, Instagram is going to give you more. Yes. When I'm on my business shit and I'm looking at real estate shit every fucking day, you know who they send it to my page? Big Business, Gary V. They sending all these inspirational niggas to my page.
To find what you like.
Exactly. But when I start looking at the baddies are in my explore page. That's what they gonna give you more of because they think you want more. So when Chief Keef set off and he started popping, like Surf said, we gonna go to Chicago and get all these other niggas that mimic that sound.
Just to go off what it said, I've just never seen a label make a song. It's some little new hot nigga or some
My example is simple, and I don't want to say anybody's name, but we've seen plenty of big albums that we can look at the track listing and see the features and see the producers and see the mixers and be like, that shit cost a lot. And it's from their fucking flagship artist.
Right.
And that shit didn't do what it was going to do.
We've seen three of them recently.
And there's no way that they said, nah, we're not going to push the button on.
Right. With us spending $800,000 on this project, but a little dirty nigga from New York, him and his friends could just go make a song that's not even, the beat is not even theirs. It's we found a song on YouTube and it was dope, but because it takes off on YouTube, we have no choice but to go and put X amount of dollars behind it. They quantify what's dope. I would never fix my face to say that these labels or these systems or machines.
But that's where I disagree. You could go get all the views on YouTube you want. If you're not signing your rights over to me, then there's no money going behind whatever you're doing, whatever momentum there is, and whatever leverage there is.
I'm with you 1,000%.
That's why I said, that's the only, I'm with what y'all saying. I just don't like the Bobby Shmurda
saying. What's your excuse for Tyler Perry in the music business? I mean, in the movie business.
Excuse for
Tyler Perry. He's an outlier?
His success, he's asking.
Or did he do the things necessary to be where the fuck he is?
You don't really want me to answer that. You don't really want me to answer that.
You know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Because actually, that argument supports what I'm arguing. Right. Your example, Tyler Perry support. You think Tyler? Wait, time out. You think Tyler Perry is regarded the way he should be regarded?
Tyler Perry could be way bigger.
Huh?
No, I don't think.
All right, so that was just a good conversation. I spoke to Ish about that, man. Like I say, they was cooking in there, and as you see, Ish got upset with him. They went on through there, man. Like, you know, I'm a fan of great conversations. You dig what I'm saying? I'm one of the few niggas that ain't gonna hate on you. You know what I mean? I ain't doing too much hating on nobody about, you know, what they doing, or if it's a good conversation to be had, man, I'm listening to it and I'm enjoying it. So, I mean, that was just a little game I wanted to put down. I also want to speak about the NBA Youngboy and the Baby album. So, for those unaware, NBA Youngboy and the Baby dropped the album named Better Than You. Just came out. I think it peaked. It did make Billboard, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to deal with both things. We're going to deal with the album, and we're going to deal with what seems to happen after the album. So let's deal with the response of the album. Number one, I think it sold like 25,000 copies, somewhere around there. And there's been a slew of internet beef aimed at the Baby for doing a joint album with NBA Youngboy in a time when he's dissing a lot of different people and have what seems to be some kind of beef on the internet with these guys. These guys, you know, the rappers are going at it. And I don't think it's on the internet because I know dudes ain't playing. I know dudes got people that's willing to risk it. I know this for a fact. You know, when you're dealing with money, you're dealing with power. When you're dealing with power, you're dealing with soldiers. And power is a very delicate thing for a young nigga to have, right? And so I get that. I understand that wholeheartedly. And all these young niggas got power because they having real money, right? And so we see, even with Tekashi, we see what money do for a clique of niggas that ain't got no money. Some of the most fearless niggas I know is broke. Yeah, I know some of the most toughest niggas known to man that work Saturdays at Logan's. They gotta close the Logans on Saturdays and work Sunday. Supervisor working him Sunday knowing he like football. And he a fearless nigga. He'll kill something. But life has him in them kind of circumstances. I know some of the toughest niggas I know drive forklifts. Boy, they were to break one of you tough niggas down and send you niggas back into the wood shop. Right? So being tough ain't worth much. I want to be clear when I'm speaking to my people. But it is an attribute that's needed. Right? It's needed now. You got to be fearless because the structure gonna tell you it's impossible. So you gotta be damn near naive to get the job done. You gotta be damn near delusional to keep it moving. Because the way it don't look favorable for us, right? But we got to make sure that we understand that no matter what it look like, we winning on this side. You understand me? So I need my people to not, ain't nothing wrong with the aim, just change the target, right? We got to be fearless in business. You know, that same fearlessness we got to drive across 6-7 state lines because we saved $2,000 on each one. Gotta have that same fearlessness when we say we finna invest in X, Y, and Z. And we're gonna do it as a collective to take some of the weight off each of us. But if we win, we all win. And if we lose, man, we would have threw that somewhere anyway. Right? Expectations, right? Just understanding that. So, you know, the situation that Durk and NBA Youngboy find themselves in, and the baby kind of took the notion of, listen, man, y'all ain't gonna tell me who I can make money with, right? So he's standing on that. That's his protocol. That's his constitution. You understand? That's what he feel like he's standing on. So of course he get backlash. Some of the OTF dudes go at him. Cali boy go at him. Yo, how you expect not to get no beef when you on this hill, man, and you know his problem, you know his pressure with the other side, you know it's gonna have some beef. And Mimo Porter has said, yo, you can't blame the baby. He thought NBA Youngboy was going to save his career. They end up selling 25,000. So a lot of people, that's a loss. You know, when I think about it, I don't understand how they selling 25K. See, what I think's happening is that some of our artists don't understand that they think it's really all about, now I'm going to keep in that studio and making good songs and I'm going to make it. If they take you out their system, you might have a problem. You still going to move, but you might have a problem in regards to lifestyle. You might got to downgrade just a tad bit if you ain't owning everything. Because they can snatch you out their system where them playlists kind of drop. It's something they doing and we may not know what it is, but it's something on that back end that's happening. If you're favorable to these labels, they can put you in some kind of system. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm telling you it's happening. So for them to come out and sell 25K, it's just like they didn't put this in the system, in whatever system that happens. Because if we look at their numbers, we look at Youngboy numbers, he a monster on YouTube. He a monster on Apple Music, right? People want to look at Spotify. We don't really, them Spotify numbers be off. I'm going to just say that. You feel what I'm saying? So don't, when I hear people going around judging people off Spotify numbers. Man, them Spotify numbers is inflated and most people are listening on Spotify, but we dealing with a large number on Apple Music as well now. Let's be clear, man. Like, let's not just say Spotify is everything in regards to number-wise, because I hear the narrative of, yo, if he got this many million listeners on Spotify, then that mean he the biggest. Nah, man, Spotify ain't just the only streaming platform. We can't be that naive in our approach to things. Let's open this up and really look at it, right? What we doing on YouTube? What we doing on Apple Music, Amazon Music? What we doing on Fuego or whatever that shit is? You know, what we doing on some of these other platforms? You dig? So let's not start that narrative. But the 25K is a low number because if you know, I think Youngboy last time he dropped the album, he did like 130. He was competing with Drake when the label pressed all the buttons on the back end. So it was just funny about that. So the baby ended up coming back out and saying, yo, we got 2.5 million for 2 days worth of work. And of course that's a great number, but I don't know if that's a good number for our premier acts in hip hop. Like, I know a couple of street niggas that got 2.5 million. If you saying all y'all need is 2.5 million and we can get an NBA Youngboy and the baby album and own it, man, I can get you 2.5 million out the street. Right? If it's, for y'all too, for them 2 type caliber acts that go on tour and we can do a little run with this, and man, come on, man, and tie it in with media and man, and we own the rights to the music. Oh man, I might can get you that out the street. I'm thinking that number was too low. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that number was too low. Maybe they could have just done it by themselves. Just put it out. You know what I mean? And they undersold King Von. I think King Von sold like 60, 56, something like that. So he outsold them. And that kind of started the thing. And people ask me, Loon, do you think that they gonna drag him in it? I think they done drug him in it now. I think when he responded, but see, I don't know if all this shit is internet. I really don't know, man. Like, I really don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know if, these dudes get to running up on each other, something gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So I just advise everybody to stay away from each other. That's what I'm looking at it like. They asked me also, what do I think the baby stands at just as an artist in regards to the market? It kind of seems like that he was compounding problems instead of compounding interest. You got to be careful with your approach to things and make sure that as you navigate a game like this, that you compound your interests and not your problems, right? Like, you don't align yourself with this dude and then have that issue and then the girl get kicked out. Like, these just is, you got to start some other shit on the other side. You got to start showing something on the other side because you in a game where you got to be loud about it because they going to scream your failures and they going to whisper your wins. And we ain't waiting around for fake niggas to say we real. So we got to make sure the people know, man. And I don't think it's grandstanding. Like, me celebrating myself shouldn't be took no way by one of you niggas. You know what I mean? I'm celebrating the hard work I put in or the lives I'm changing or the game that's being put down. Like, you shouldn't feel away. Nigga, I got my people watching me, my children. My old lady, I'm putting on for my family, nigga. I'm showing them, look what I did. I took it from nothing to something. The young nigga with no information, nigga, it's on the other side, nigga. It's over here. Come on, nigga, it's on the other side, right? And I'm going to continue to, so you shouldn't feel no way for me celebrating myself. You understand me? And I shouldn't get viewed as some kind of, arrogant individual because a win is a win. I don't care who done it. A win is a win. So if I went up, nigga, I went up. And that's that on that. If you go up, you go up. If you fly, you fly. It's that on that. We don't do no hating. We don't participate in all that, man. But the baby guys, start getting took off them playlists. His new records they ain't really giving it to him. But I think when they might press all the buttons, I'm just worried is Interscope still there. That's the only thing I'm worried, because I don't know. It just ain't clear. They ain't clear with what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want this Interscope still there with him. If they still there with him, he might be all right far as the structure thing. If they not, man, we'll really get to see his pure fan base. You know what I mean? And I think that he just got to be cognizant of his business over there and making sure that everything is cool. And see, I don't like to see the industry, in regards to the baby or the NBA Youngboy beef or just the beef in the industry. Like, but I don't know. I can't squash it, man, because I just don't know, man. I don't know how to talk to those dudes about that because I know us and we ain't doing. It's just like, man, when that blood gets spilled, that's such a rough conversation, man. And I just don't have the words just yet. I ain't found them. Right? I don't know if that's the pastor job. I don't really know who job that is. That's a mean one, though. That's a mean job. I ain't even, because even the big homie talk, really, I don't really be knowing if that's resonating, man, because it's blood on the other side. That shit be deep. You know what I'm saying? And we got to still make the attempts. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable just yet. When I first approached the game, I'm like, man, you know what, man? I'm dealing with Supreme. I'm finna start trying to bump down on some of these dudes and squash some of this beef. But then when you start talking to these rappers or the entourage or some of the big homies and they like, nah, man, these dudes smoked my cousin or, man, they pulled up, man, and shot my auntie house. It's like, say what? oh man, like that ain't my business. That ain't my business. Respectfully too, man, because I want better for us too, man. That's just that job right there is just a unique one, and at some point I'm praying to be able to speak truth to power like that. But I know the emotions on the other side because I've dealt with death, right? I've dealt with death in the street. Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, DL Hughley. It's a lot going on. Again, people ask me all the time, Charlemagne is now being through in this. This is an unfortunate situation. I think the unconventional approach by Kanye West to get with his family, which is Kim Kardashian and his children, I think it is a bit unique, his approach. I think that it becomes overwhelming at points, right, dealing with people. But I also understand, I sympathize and empathize with mistakes. They got love attached to him. I know it's love there. I know how flattered he was to have her. See, I remember, to look at what things are, you must know where they come from. History is important, right? So understanding how he championed himself, how that was one of the most, that was high on his list in regards to what he wanted to accomplish, right? And to see where they land at is unfortunate, but you know, the one that you love the most gonna hurt you the most. That's just how it works. That's why a lot of people don't welcome love as much, because once I love you, I give you the ability to hurt me. It's a vicious cycle right there. You understand? Once I open up, I now have the ability to be hit, to be harmed. As long as I stay in the shell and stay closed up, no matter how good it is, it don't matter. You don't miss what you never had. And if it is bad, I'm protected from it. Right? And so when you do risk assessment, which most men do, they find themselves staying in their shell. Nonetheless, D.L. Hughley came out and said some things about Kanye West's approach. Let's listen to what he said. And shout out to Neighborhood Talk.
Yeah, I just never, the difference between him and the other dude that get restraining orders on them is hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right, because he bought a house across the street from her house.
Listen, I think that I've watched too many times where things like that happen and a woman or somebody's not believed and then things escalate.
Yeah.
He is stalking her. You could think it's cute. If it was my daughter, I'd do something about it. I don't think it's funny. I think that you can't write a beat so good that you get to do these things. And society laughs it off because they say, well, she showed her ass all the time and he's this and he's that and it's that. At a certain point, it is not unusual for men like that. The difference between him and a restraining order is about 20 hits and a couple of $100 million. I just don't think it's funny. I think that Kanye wouldn't get no pussy at all if he didn't write no hits. You know that. Like, he's not the kind of dude. He don't, like, he counts on the shit that he dismissed. I just never.
So you hear what D.L. Hughley said right there, which they got a response out of Kanye. Again, that's a rough question. If that's your sister, if that's your mother, right? Them is always rough questions when you're dealing with love. But at the end of the day, this Western world looks at marriage, or maybe every culture, I believe, looks at marriage in a way where, you know, you two now belong to each other. You become one, right? So now there's nothing over that, right? So then when you start to say, like, it just gets weird. That whole shit, it just get weird. Now D.L. Hughley comes out and says that, and then Kanye tweets this out.
Get security guard. You're gonna miss it when Trump takes him away. We've been in quarantine so long, remember, when we came back, remember everyone wanted to get rid of Mexicans, to call it, they were immigrants. got you.
Oh, that's when he fell out. For those of you listening, I didn't even know that. For those of you listening, Kanye West now tweets out the video when D.L. Hughley was at Zayne's. Shout out Zayne's in Nashville. And I think he fell out on stage and he says this. He says this, we're gonna stop letting practicing drug addicts be used by leftists to willy lynch our future black people with our own opinion, are not allowed to speak in public. I am the glitch, DL. God does not like you. You have no favor. Your family hates you. I would hate to be related to someone who used to be famous. Now you just known as a broke pawn. At least Oprah got billions allegedly. Come on, lefties. Y'all got to do better than DL. This yay. Bring the real smoke, baby. Show your face. Charlemagne just don't hit the same Dewey. Who y'all gonna get now? God is with us. And you send DL to be against us? You lost. No brilliant Hebrews will bow to y'all no more. Only dumbass drug addict house niggas don't play with me. Don't play with God. Anybody related to DL call Chris McLean at Adidas for Yeezys. They're not free though. We running a business over here. He just getting ran. You see Skeet missing work. Anybody else want to play with me? Please, please, for the love of God, come get me. Let's see how it turns out. Now, this the kind of shit that, like I say, man, you play on the internet, it's just it's gonna be a recipe for disaster. Somebody got to be able to grab that phone out your hand. And then Kanye tweeted, DL Hughley, what? DL lives in Calabasas? Yo, God is good. And so they taking these things as threats, right? They taking these things as threats. And for me, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it all the way player. I don't think threatening niggas worth them billions is cool. Because then if something happened to you, we won't be able to figure out where it come from. You got to be careful with them kind of things. And so after the D.L. Hughley situation kind of went on the back burner, this is Sunday morning. Kanye then talks about Kim not allowing his kids to come to Sunday service or something. Let's listen to what he said.
Hey, everybody. I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said, I'm not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney. I have a say-so. And then when people say, oh, they're going to use this for you in court, I didn't have a say-so on whether or not they went to Sierra Canyon. Most men do not, there's no such thing as 50-50 custody with in society today. That's not even, it always leans towards the mom. But right now, and I'm happy that you guys got to see just a small piece of what I dealt with. You understand what I'm saying? So when we had the Don 2 release in Miami, I got a flight for all my kids to come from Calabasas to come in Miami to see the kids. Then assistant hit me and said, all the kids, they said the kids are there. When the plane took off, I got a text from Kim that said, North won't be on the plane. You see, this is the kind of stuff that's just like the Chicago birthday party. And I'm glad that y'all saw in the variety piece what I have to deal with. Here go another thing. The Doves high school basketball game. We hold one in California. My daughter loves basketball. I want her to see the league that her father is starting. North can't go to that game. Now we got Sunday service this morning at 10 a.m. and it's North had a sleepover, so she can't come to Sunday service. I moved the Sunday service up to 10 a.m. so that I can go to Saint soccer game at 12:30. Move the entire thing. So I called different people I knew, and the best advice I got right now was from Tory Lanez, and he just said to pray and ask for God to speak through me. I got 4 children, and there's so many people who don't have a voice and have the opportunity to be able to speak up and just, God, if it is in your will, you know, touch the people.
So he's now praying on his Instagram, pleading with her to bring his kids to his Sunday service, and that's really unfortunate.
All the children, and touch them and say, please bring my children to Sunday service this morning at 10 a.m. You know, God, this is out of my hands. It's up to you. This whole conversation of custody, this whole narrative, gaslighting, you know, all of this. It's like right now, this is up to you. I thank you for putting me in a position to be able to make Sunday service and put this online and have my family, you know, be there. My children be there to hear about God, to sing about Jesus Christ, for us to be able to have the first right, the freedom of speech in America to still talk about God out loud. This morning, God, please, you know, there's no reason why these young children, upon their father's request, shouldn't be allowed to come to Sunday service. At this point, it's going too far. God, please. The boyfriend texts me, antagonizing me, bragging about being in bed with my wife. I thought it publicly for a year and a half. I've been dragged, and how she's not my wife. She don't have a last name. And now he texting me, talking and bragging about how he's in bed with my wife. And I'm like, well, who's watching my children if he's texting me, bragging about being in bed with my wife?
I want to speak about that just a second. I think it's unfortunate that we deal with two different people with two different walks of life. And this is why you got to make sure that who you coexist with, you can stand to share culture with. Right. And I'm not saying that you can't date outside your culture, but you have to date with an understanding of each other's culture. Right. When I look at this situation right here with Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian and Skeet, again, we dealing with family, and I view it that way, and I try to handle it with as much care as I can. But the information reigns supreme in regards to what I want to make sure is at the forefront of my motherfucking conversation. So information is king and relationships are second, right? That means that I try not to offend, but in searching for truth, I hope not to offend. But in searching for truth, the results just so happen to be the results, right? When I look at Kanye West being black and Pete Davidson being white, it shows me the difference between the two cultures. Because in black people's culture, you really don't want to be laying up with nobody's wife. That is a violation of all contracts. Yeah, that's a violation of the terms and conditions, laying with somebody's wife. So you don't want to be in a situation that's an automatic niggas know that gets you hit. So for you to be doing that and texting about it, let me know. See, that's the white boy games. See, the white boys don't got no feelings for real with that kind of stuff. Sometimes it really be arrangement, and I'm not talking about all white dudes, but it's a subsection of them like that, bro. That's if somebody creeping with somebody's wife, they is not trying to let that dude know. They know it's a couple different things people dying about. They woman, they kids, and they mother. Then other people, you throw in your clique, you throw in your money, you throw in your children. You know, your children is already on there. That's part of your family, but they family, money, you know, certain things niggas is dying about, and that wife laying with your wife, that's a totally different thing, bro. Black people don't play that. So that's letting me know, oh man, we dealing with, oh man, I done put my foot in this water right here, and they done grabbed me and drug me in here. Now I got to deal with this, because black people don't play like that. You don't tell no nigga with no billions of dollars laying up with your wife. You don't tell a broke nigga laying up with your wife. You understand? So, man, that was weird to me.
I thought this wasn't my wife no more legally since I got I got the lawyer to finally finish the divorce, because every time I finish the show, the Free Hoover show, the next day she dropping the last night. Every time I do something positive, it's something negative that's coming. I go and get the laptop from Ray J. Then she joking about divorce. I go and get the lawyer, change the lawyer so we can finally do the divorce. And then somehow I'm the one that's the stalker. God, I just need to protect you protect the children. I know our nannies, some of them are Christian. You touch them, please, God, today, and have them bring my children to Sunday service this morning. The devil ain't gonna win. You get what I'm saying? This is gaslighting. Kim gets black people out of prison. You know who puts black people in prison? The person that the boyfriend has a tattoo of, Hillary. You understand the setup right here? You understand the narrative right here? God, please, in your son's name, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, please make sure my kids come to Sunday service. Please. Amen.
So here are the actual tweets, bro. Yo, it's Skeet. Can you please take a second and calm down? It's 8 a.m. and I don't got to be like this. Kim is literally the best mother I've ever met. What she does for those kids is amazing, and you're so fucking lucky that that's your kid's mom. I've decided I'm not going to let you treat us this way anymore, and I'm done being quiet. Grow the fuck up. Oh, you using profanity. Where are you right now? In bed with your wife. And a picture, son. Look at the picture. She can't, if she right there letting them take that picture, boy, I want y'all to know this is deeper than Kanye and Pete. This is a clashing of cultures. This is a white boy and a black man. And this is a white dude who don't understand how dangerous it is to tell a man, period, that you laying with one of his most prized things that he cares about in his life, his wife. Hey, that's deep. Now, to be fair, Kanye has said some things online. Let's be critical and let's be real. So we ain't saying that he has been harmless, but we saying, all right, so you've now escalated the match. First, it was just a match in the ring where we were just a traditional wrestling match. Now we come out the ring. Now it's Falls Count Anywhere. Now it's Boiler Room Brawl. I'm hitting niggas with ladders, and yeah, you done took it to another level now. You done took the match somewhere else. And he said, happy to see you out the rehab. This is what Kanye sent back. Then he said, same here. Wonders what those places do when you go get help. You should try it. I'm in LA for the day if you want to stop being a little internet bitch, boy, and talk. This how he talking to Kanye. You being a bitch, boy, and talk. Then he told him, you don't scare me, bro. Your actions are so pussy and embarrassing. It's so sad to watch you ruin your legacy on the daily. Then he said, you're more than welcome to come to Sunday service. Why don't we meet after Sunday service in Saints game? I'll be at BHH. We can have food and talk it out in my room. Privately, one-on-one, man-to-man. What you are doing to your family is dangerous and gonna scare them for life. Please handle these matters privately, bro. I beg you. You want to see me come to Sunday service. This isn't public, dude. I'm not here for pictures and press, which is obviously all you care about. My offer stands. I wish you man up for once in your life. Let me help you, man. I struggle with mental stuff too. It's not an easy journey. You don't have to feel this way anymore. There's no shame in having a little help. You'll be so happy and at peace. You have no idea how nice I've been to you despite your actions towards me. I've stopped SNL from talking about you, making fun of you, which they wanted to do for months. I've stopped stand-up comedians from doing bits about you because I don't want the father of my girl's kids to look bad out there. Talking to you about your wife, I want to be clear. I have your back even though you treat me like shit because I want everything to be smooth. But if you continue to press me like you have for the past 6 months, I'm going to stop being nice. Kanye West then puts on his Instagram a message. It says, Kim, other phone. He says, when I say bring my kids somewhere, I'm not going through this anymore. Why the fuck is it up to you where my kids are if we so-called have joint custody? Then he writes, my dad won't even call Kim. I don't speak to most of my family because they've been allowed in this kind of behavior. I am in no way trying to get this woman back. I moved on with my life. I just feel culturally there's a bunch of white privileged people forcing the upbringing of a bunch of black children. These are trigger words, and he's a smart man. High-level jiu-jitsu mental games. I seen a bunch of celebrities speak up against me, but ain't been no one other than Candace Owens that ever said that any of this bitter baby mama behavior is wrong. Then Van tweeted back to DL Hughley, spoke to DL this AM. He doesn't think threats to his family or professional slander are funny and is going to deal with it accordingly. He told me he'll be making a statement very soon. I do think it's ill-advised to threaten people worth that amount of money. Like I don't see, you know what I'm saying? I don't see how that's effective. I mean, I know you're hurt, but you got to be careful with your money, man. You don't want to just give it away. Like don't let them walk you in the trick bag. Got you threatening people and now they make one of their people. Hey, come on, slide through. You know Kanye said that. Come on, shoot the house up right quick. And then they get one of their own people to shoot the house up and sue you about it. Like, don't put yourself in them kind of shit. You going in the trick bag. We don't go in the trick bag for nobody. Yeah, we done got up out the trick bag. We don't play them games no more. It's over for that. Now, D.L. Hughley finally responds. He says, ain't no way in hell I'd be scared of dude who wears I Know What You Did Last Summer boots. He says, ain't it weird that Kanye supposedly has all these goons who will kill for him, but not one of them will get his prescription filled. Here's a thought while you're on your way to kill me in Calabasas. How about somebody drop by CVS and pick up his Xanax? LOL, hashtag Team DL. Ain't no way in hell I'd be scared of a dude to wear I Know What You Did Last Summer boots. So he's going at him, and I think he said one more thing, and then we'll get out of here. And he said, Kanye, it's too bad for you to acting like a nut won't stop Pete from busting one, and then Whack 100 gets in and calls him a part of the Illuminati. So again, man, it's just it's a fucked up situation, unfortunate situation. We'll probably talk about more next week. We gave y'all a good podcast today. We appreciate everybody that's tapped in. We about to go to the next level. I want everybody to be ready to support, ready to be loud about us being influential in the market, ready to be upfront about what the conversations are being started at, and making sure that we get our proper place in the game, man. It's Up There Podcast. It's another episode of The Fastest Growing, the biggest